I watched as my wife transformed into a stranger, seductively dressing for another man. Every touch of makeup, every seductive smile wasn't for me. I installed cameras, capturing every sordid detail. The night I confronted them, I was armed not just with evidence, but with a resolve that would change everything. As I burst into the room, the betrayal in her eyes met the fury in mine. That night, my vengeance knew no bounds. Join me as I unravel the dark truth behind the facade of a perfect marriage. Stay tuned to hear the full story, where love and betrayal collide.
It was truly painful to witness her preparation for the evening, especially after she adorned herself in alluring lingerie and stockings. I observed as she meticulously applied makeup and styled her hair with great care. Then my wife donned a seductive dress that was completely unfamiliar to me. To complete her ensemble, she slipped into high heels that I had never seen before. A surge of betrayal, jealousy, and anger welled up within me. She had gone through all this effort for Mark Diamond, her boss, not for me. She was making herself desirable and alluring to another man outside of our marriage, while I worked tirelessly to provide her with a wonderful life and a loving family. It was incomprehensible. Our intimate life together was extraordinary. Jessica had always been attentive and never hid anything from me. She always made me feel loved, so there was no reason to doubt her. After 20 years of marriage, I knew her well and never once considered that she would betray our vows, except for that one night, a month ago, at her company's dinner, when her boss, Mark Diamond, the managing partner of the law firm, paid more attention to Jessica than I was comfortable with. There was a smirk that I caught when he glanced at me after dancing with my wife, which gave me a hint. For some reason, a troubling feeling began to gnaw at me, and it intensified when I confronted Jessica about it the following day. The way she defended him and attempted to make me feel like I was overreacting only confirmed my suspicions. Suddenly, the numerous late meetings and missed lunches became red flags that demanded immediate attention. The more I pondered, the angrier I became. Jessica serves as Mark's personal assistant, and he is the managing partner of a prestigious law firm. He is one of those individuals who takes pleasure in flaunting his success through expensive cars, jewelry, a lavish lifestyle, and his young trophy wife, Stella. She is a stunning 30-year-old woman for whom he left his ex-wife of 20 years. I recall Mark making jokes at the expense of others, including a time when he mocked my profession during one of our walks. You see, I am a salesperson for screws and fasteners, catering to large retail stores. However, upon reflection, I have come to realize that I may have overlooked certain warning signs. It is frustrating. I refuse to be seen as a fool, and I certainly won't remain silent. I can comprehend why others are drawn to Mark.
He possesses the qualities of an alpha male, strong, attractive, and successful. As the affluent partner of the firm, he is the one everyone desires to associate with. Moreover, Jessica, being his closest confidant at the firm, adds to his allure. She is his trusted and esteemed right hand. Initially, everything seemed to be going smoothly. The fact that Mark had a younger and more attractive wife didn't seem to bother him. He desired it all, even if it meant claiming someone else's spouse. Determined to confirm whether my suspicions were valid or if I was simply being paranoid, I took swift action over the course of the following week. Upon the arrival of 6 audio recording devices and 5 video cameras, I promptly set my plan into motion. The initial placement of the first video camera was in the smoke detector on the ceiling of our bedroom. To ensure comprehensive coverage, the next 2 cameras were strategically positioned at different angles within the bedroom. Additional cameras were then placed in the master bathroom and living room. All of these camcorders possessed the capability to live stream and record in up to 8K resolution, with wireless connectivity to a dedicated computer that I had set up in the attic. These devices could be conveniently controlled remotely through a phone application. In terms of audio recording, unique audio devices were utilized. One of these devices was discreetly concealed within a pen, which I positioned near the kitchen phone. The other audio device was discreetly placed within her car. To further enhance surveillance, I discreetly positioned other standard recording devices within her 3 favorite purses and one behind our bed. With this comprehensive setup, I anticipated capturing at least 90% of her conversations and any activities within the house. As I prepared for my upcoming business trip, I couldn't shake off a sense of unease about the following week. However, I took solace in the fact that Jessica always showered me with love and affection, especially when I was away. Her expressions of love would typically begin with an abundance of kisses and sweet words, assuring me of her deep affection and desire for me. The intimacy and love we shared were invaluable to me, and she had never let me down. With tears welling up in her eyes, she looked at me with a smile and said, "I love you too, baby. You are amazing, and I will love you forever." That night was truly remarkable, and I felt an overwhelming sense of closeness and love for this woman, making me question the need for my spying plan. Nevertheless, I decided to leave everything in place and embarked on my 2-night business trip later that week. I wanted to provide her with ample time in case anything were to occur. We bid each other farewell with a kiss, and by 6 p.m., I was on my way to the hotel, a 3-hour drive away. During the journey, I found myself reflecting on the past 6 months, desperately searching for any signs of infidelity. However, apart from a couple of encounters with her boss, characterized by his smugness and attempts to belittle me, nothing had changed. A smile crept onto my face as I realized how foolish and paranoid I had been. Upon my arrival at the hotel, I proceeded to check into my room and powered up my laptop, settling comfortably on the king-size bed. After a brief moment, I accessed my email to check for any work-related messages, and then proceeded to click on the link to the server in my attic to review the activities of the past 3 hours. I was aware that there wouldn't be much to observe, but it was necessary to test the remote access system. I fast-forwarded the video playback to 3 times the normal speed until I caught a glimpse of my wife in the bedroom, then resumed it to normal speed to witness her engaging in a phone call. To my surprise, the conversation was with Mark, just an hour after my departure. As I watched her conversing with her boss while lying on the bed, the audio was captured by the video camera. I could only hear her side of the dialogue as I observed the footage. "Hello, honey. He's gone and I'm all alone. Yes, this time for 2 nights. When can you come? Won't your wife question your whereabouts? Oh my God, this is fantastic. Can you stay the night with me? I truly desire to wake up beside you. Oh, absolutely. I'm completely yours, darling. So what time will you arrive? All right. Looking forward to seeing you soon. I love you, darling." I sat there in disbelief. Just moments ago, we shared an intimate moment filled with love. She expressed her love for me multiple times. Yet an hour later, she invites him to spend the night with her. Who was this woman? How could she profess her love for me and then betray me in such a manner? Is he really coming tonight? For the subsequent hour, I observed my affectionate wife preparing to rendezvous with her lover, witnessing her shower, don sexy lingerie, high heels, and apply makeup, spending another 30 minutes styling her hair. It was an excruciatingly painful and yet strangely erotic scene. I always knew she possessed a sensual side, and when she adorned herself in such a manner, she exuded allure. The issue lay in the fact that she never dressed up like that for me. Anger and envy surged through me as I comprehended that she was doing all of this for Mark, not for her devoted husband. It was all too much for me to comprehend. Was Mark's visit tonight a genuine occurrence or a miscommunication? The answer to that question became clear a few minutes later when the doorbell rang and I witnessed Mark entering my house, passionately kissing Jessica in front of a live video camera. I captured a close-up of their kiss, which caused me to feel nauseous for the first time that night. "Wow, baby, you look stunning in that dress. I can't wait to remove it from your seductive body and spend the entire night making love to you," he exclaimed, glancing at Jessica with a wide smile. Their interaction fueled my anger, but that anger transformed into immense pain when I observed her taking his hand and leading him into our bedroom. The pain intensified as I watched her undress him while he stood there with that foolish grin on his face. He was a well-built man with a muscular physique and defined abs. I observed this with a mix of jealousy, fury, and resentment, yet somehow I couldn't help but be impressed by this despicable individual. After enduring a second bout of vomiting, I reluctantly listened to their sexual activities for the following hour.
Clearly I knew that my marriage was over, and I shouldn't have allowed it to affect me, but their conversation was the most excruciating part of the night. As they lay in each other's arms, he initiated the conversation by acknowledging my absence for a few nights. "All right then, you'll be mine for the next 2 days. I'm thrilled that you can spend the night, baby. You know, I've longed to wake up next to you. I love being with you, Mark," she responded. "Yes, I'll enjoy having you repeatedly throughout the night while my husband works his behind off. What a fool he is. But be good, Mark. I love him, and he's a good person. So why do you let me engage in sexual activities with you? Mark, you are the most attractive man I've ever known, and I adore our intimate moments. However, we're both married, and we should simply cherish the time we have together. It makes sense. You provide me with more love and affection than my wife or any other woman I've been with. For me, it's more than just sex. I genuinely love the way you make me feel." The mention of Jessica's words truly wounded me because the love he spoke of was meant to be exclusively for me. "I find pleasure in the way you make me feel, but now I am filled with sadness and a profound sense of loss." I turned off the computer, unable to bear the betrayal unfolding in my own home, in our shared bed. After enduring hours of sleeplessness and grappling with my anger, I came to the realization that there would be much pain and retribution in my future. Upon my return home, everything appeared to be normal. There was an abundance of love and respect. Jessica greeted me warmly with a tight embrace and numerous kisses. She behaved as she always had, as if nothing had transpired during my absence. Instead of the love I had always felt for her, I now felt repulsion and recoiled at her touch. I played the role of a skilled actor, maintaining a facade of normalcy. I gathered all the recordings and videos, creating backups in the cloud and encrypting a file on my computer. Over the next 2 weeks, I ensured that every moment Jessica spent with me was meaningful. I kept her occupied, denying them any opportunity for quick encounters or late-night intimacy. She even inquired about my upcoming travel plans. It was evident that they desired my departure. One morning, while she was driving to work, I overheard their conversation. "When will your husband be out of town again?" she asked. "I'm not certain, but I will find out," he replied. "It needs to happen soon, my love." Armed with this knowledge, I strategically planned a one-night trip, ensuring that he would visit while I was away. The plan was taking shape. Later that evening, as I watched a movie on TV, my unfaithful wife posed a question. "Darling, when is your next trip?" I attempted to control my anger and responded, "Sweetheart, are you trying to get rid of me? Do you have a secret lover who visits in my absence?" I said it in a playful tone. She did not falter or display any signs of guilt. "Don't be ridiculous. I enjoy having you at home. I hope you don't have to leave," she replied. "I hope your travels have been reduced. Unfortunately, I still have to travel for work. I have an evening appointment next Tuesday and will return on Wednesday." She spoke convincingly. "I dislike it when you're away. I wish you didn't have to travel so much. I miss you terribly when you're not here." She then embraced me, kissed me passionately, and made me feel an overwhelming amount of love. When I discovered she was sharing that love with another man, I wanted to scream and push her away. However, I maintained my composure and continued with my usual routine, knowing that my plan would be executed the following week. On Tuesday, I prepared for my trip and had one final intimate moment with Jessica. After tonight, it will be the end for us. She kissed me goodbye before I left, and I wondered if she noticed the sadness in my eyes as I looked at her for the last time. Her expression changed, leaving me unsure of what she was thinking. Instead of leaving town, I returned to my office and parked my car. I resumed working late at my desk, which was not out of the ordinary, and no one questioned my presence. Around 7:30, the video camera captured Mark entering my house and sharing a tender kiss with my soon-to-be ex-wife. The time had come. I disabled the video camera using a phone app and placed my cell phone in a drawer to avoid being tracked by GPS during my journey. Silently, I left the office, retrieved a folding electric bike from my car's trunk, and put on a black hoodie. After ensuring no one had noticed, I embarked on a 12-mile trip back to your home. The bike was chosen for its stealth, allowing me to return home undetected within 20 minutes. I parked the bike behind the house and entered through the back sliding door, which I had left open. Upon entering the room, I stood silently to ensure that my presence remained undetected and listened intently for any noises emanating from the bedroom. Once I was certain that they were preoccupied and unaware of my arrival, I retrieved the short-barreled shotgun and aluminum bat from the closet and proceeded towards the bedroom. Carefully positioning the shotgun against the wall outside the room, I grasped the bat and quietly pushed open the door to reveal the dimly lit interior. Their loud activities masked any sounds or shadows, allowing me to approach the bed without hesitation and deliver a forceful blow to the man's head. The impact of metal meeting flesh was muffled by the thud of the heavy man collapsing to the ground. Seizing the shotgun, I illuminated the room, causing Jessica to comprehend the dire situation. Shocked and bewildered, she cried out in disbelief, pleading for mercy. "Why are you here? You should be elsewhere. What possessed you to bring another man into our bed?" I demanded, silencing her protests. The injured man, now semi-conscious and bleeding from a wound inflicted by the bat, stared at me with a mixture of fear and defiance. "Why did you do this, man? Are you out of your mind?" he questioned nervously, eyeing the pointed shotgun. "You think you can just waltz in here and take matters into your own hands?" I retorted, my anger palpable. "You both betrayed me, and tonight you will face the consequences. Mark, your time has come." As the tension escalated, I made it clear that their actions would not go unpunished. "If you kill me, you'll rot in prison for the rest of your days," Mark warned, attempting to intimidate me. Disregarding his threats, I stood my ground, determined to exact my revenge. "Tonight, all of us will face the consequences. How does that sound to you, fool?" I taunted, instilling fear in both of them. I had no intentions of causing harm to anyone, but it was satisfying to witness their fear. I acted with excitement, intentionally scaring both Jessica and Mark. Jessica was in tears, huddled and attempting to shield her exposed body with a sheet. "Darling, please refrain from doing anything foolish. I genuinely love you. Lower the shotgun and let's discuss this calmly." With a wicked grin, I aimed the shotgun at her. "Be quiet. This is a consequence of your desire for extramarital adventures. Whatever occurs tonight is a result of your actions." They understood the severity of the situation and knew they had to appease me, or else I would harm everyone present. The shotgun was loaded with custom-made rounds consisting of 25% salt and 75% capsicum, similar to the components found in pepper spray. My intention was not to take lives, but rather to inflict enough pain and perhaps some damage to his genitals that would haunt him for a lifetime. I had no intention of ending up in jail, and today I won't kill anyone. However, since no one was aware of this, I aimed to frighten them profoundly so that these emotions would linger and they would never forget this night. Once Mark recovered from the blow to his head, he grew more audacious and decided to charge at me in an attempt to disarm me. I had been anticipating this moment. As soon as he made his move, leaving himself vulnerable, I discharged the first round. The explosion was deafening, but his screams were even more piercing. He was unable to see or breathe properly, suffocating in agony unlike anything he had ever experienced. A few minutes later, as he writhed in pain and bled, I explained the plan. I delivered a kick to the incapacitated man to capture his attention, all the while maintaining eye contact with my soon-to-be ex-wife. "Listen to me, and you, my unfaithful wife. I will depart shortly, and you will take this loser to the emergency room before he bleeds out. You will not call 917, but instead you will transport him to the hospital in your car. You will not disclose how this incident occurred or that I was involved. In fact, if anyone inquires, you will inform them that I had no knowledge of your affair. If any of you disclose my involvement or knowledge of your adultery, the video, audio, and photos I have will be shared with the individual's wife and colleagues at the company. Additionally, a link to a website containing over 2 hours of your intimate moments will be sent to everyone you know. I am indifferent to the lies you may fabricate for the authorities, but you must not mention my name and must claim ignorance of the situation. Do not terminate my ex-wife's employment. She will require the job post-divorce. Should you pursue me or if she rejects the divorce offer, all will be revealed.
At that juncture, consequences will be of no concern. Ensure he receives medical attention before he loses too much blood. Remember my instructions. I exited discreetly, securing the lock and closing the door behind me. The bat and shotgun were concealed in a bag, which I slung over my shoulder. Silently, I departed the vicinity. En route back to my office on my bicycle, I disposed of the weapons in separate sections of the river. I discarded the surgical gloves I wore and returned to my office. By 9 a.m., I had stowed the bicycle in my car and was seated at my desk. Subsequently, I bid farewell to some IT staff working late before embarking on my journey. To all appearances, my vehicle remained in the parking lot, and I remained at my desk throughout the evening. In the event of an accusation, it would be their word against mine, lacking any evidence. Mark underwent surgery, requiring 18 stitches after sustaining a concussion from the assault. His account was that he recalled walking home with paperwork for his assistant, then waking up in the hospital. He claimed no recollection of the incident or any assailant. He maintained silence, aware that I held the power to jeopardize his life and career. Jessica refrained from commenting on the matter, only mentioning hearing a gunshot and discovering Mark injured outside. She escorted him to the hospital as she deemed waiting for an ambulance was not an option. Neither could provide a plausible explanation for his nudity, and both remained steadfast in their accounts. However, Mark's spouse remained unconvinced, leading to a significant issue for Mark. I spent the afternoon dismantling the surveillance equipment, transferring all data to an encrypted cloud server, and disposing of the equipment. Any remaining proof of their affair that I was aware of was now inaccessible in the cloud. Jessica entered around 6 p.m. and discovered me in the living room holding a bottle of my finest whiskey. I remained silent as she sat opposite me on the sofa. She appeared shattered and despondent. I had never seen her in such a state, and for a fleeting moment I felt pity for her. With tears in her eyes, she struggled to clarify everything. "Johnny, I understand that what you witnessed was distressing, but you must realize that I didn't love him. I know how it appeared and what I said, and I'm sure it hurt you, but you know me. After intimacy, I crave emotional connection. I expressed all my feelings to you in my heart. It was all for you, darling. Whenever you were away, I despised being alone. Mark kept me company. Yes, things turned physical, but it was merely physical. You have to trust me." I was dumbfounded by the absurd justification she provided. "Jessica, I heard your explanations, and despite your claims that those words of affection were meant for me, I can't shake the feeling that they were meant for Mark. It's over, Jessica. 20 wonderful years thrown away because of your boss and your infidelity. We will both have to bear the consequences of your actions for the rest of our lives. Thank you for the pain and anguish you've caused me. I will always treasure it," I retorted sarcastically. "What do we do now?" she inquired, tears streaming down her face. "Well, we're through. I will never comprehend how you could do this to me, or why I must carry this burden forever. I cannot forgive what you've done. However, I will uphold my promise and refrain from exposing your unfaithfulness. Sarah and your parents will remain oblivious to the fact that you have engaged in such behavior. Instead of tarnishing your image as a mother and daughter, I will allow you to explain the reasons behind our divorce. Nevertheless, I caution you against portraying me as the villain in this situation. If you choose to do so, the consequences will be dire, as I will ensure that everyone becomes aware of your infidelity. I have decided to put the house up for sale, and in the meantime, you will need to find a new place to reside. Due to the destruction caused by your actions, it is imperative that you move out. This is not a request, but a directive that you must follow. Kindly inform me of your preferred address for the delivery of the divorce papers. Sign the papers without resistance, as resisting the divorce will only bring further pain upon you and your boyfriend." Tears streaming down her face, she attempted to speak. "He is not my boyfriend, and I do not love him. Can't we find a way to resolve this? Is there anything we can do? I know it may be too late after what I have done, but I cannot imagine my life without you. I am willing to do whatever it takes to keep us together. Losing you is something I never wanted. Please do not abandon me. You see, Jessica, if it had solely been about physical intimacy, perhaps we could have sought counseling or considered a separation.
However, what truly shattered my love for you was the fact that you shared a love with him that was meant exclusively for me. The words you uttered to him destroyed us. I will never forget or forgive your act of betrayal. Furthermore, I have no desire to ever see or communicate with you again. Once the divorce is finalized, you will vanish from my life forever." After pleading for several hours, she left the following morning and sought refuge with her parents until the house was sold. Over the course of the next week, the police interrogated me and attempted to implicate me in the incident. I engaged the services of a lawyer, and we informed them that unless they presented evidence of my involvement, I would no longer cooperate without a warrant. As there was no evidence and I had a solid alibi, they ceased their inquiries. Ultimately, the incident was reported as a random burglary and assault. Word spread that she was one of Mark's former girlfriends, leading to her being treated as such. She found herself in a job she despised, with no opportunities for advancement, no friends, no spouse, and a family that blamed her for the divorce. This led her to spiral into depression, crying alone every night, missing Johnny with every fiber of her being. Her heart was constantly heavy, consumed by thoughts of her actions and the loss she experienced. Sarah attempted to support her mother, but it seemed like there was no turning back as she witnessed her mother's declining health. Jessica's eating habits deteriorated, and she turned to alcohol every evening. She neglected her well-being, claiming that without Johnny, she had no reason to care anymore. When Sarah sought guidance from her father, he empathized with her situation, but could never forgive the betrayal, leading him to cut ties with Jessica indefinitely. Stella truly orchestrated a complete upheaval in Mark's life, turning it into a living nightmare. She compelled him to relocate to one of the guest rooms, and he paid a steep price for his unfaithfulness. Eventually, Stella started dating multiple younger men while keeping Mark around solely to foot the bills. She agreed to accompany him as arm candy to corporate events and business meetings, but their lives remained separate. Mark's future holds no prospect of intimacy or finding love again. He will forever remember the moment his entire life changed, all because of his desire to pursue another man's wife. His anger towards me was immense, and he sought to inflict the utmost harm upon me. However, nothing transpired for months. Later that year, while having a drink with my colleagues, I was assaulted and brutally beaten outside the bar until my friends rushed out to assist. The attackers fled before the police arrived, and I spent 2 days in the hospital with broken ribs and 20 stitches. I believe their intention was to end my life, and if it weren't for my friends, they might have succeeded. I knew this was retribution on behalf of Mark, and it didn't surprise me in the least. 6 weeks later, I felt significantly better and decided to call Mark's office. "May I speak with Mr. Diamond, please?" I asked his secretary. "I'm sorry, he's in a meeting. Can I take a message?" she replied. "Yes, please inform him to meet me this Friday at 1 o'clock at the French deli across the street." "I apologize, sir, but I don't schedule appointments for Mr. Diamond. Shall I just pass along the message?" she inquired. "Write it down. Friday, 1 p.m., French deli."
"Be there alone, Johnny. Just give it to him, and he will understand its significance. Thank you." I positioned myself at a table facing the entrance, patiently waiting for the despicable man to arrive. As soon as he walked in alone, he noticed me and approached the table. "Take a seat," I commanded. "What do you want?" he retorted. Disregarding his outburst, I calmly stated, "Thank you for coming today. Your associates did quite a number on me, but unfortunately for you, they didn't follow through because you failed to heed my warning about seeking revenge against me or my family. You forced my hand." I presented him with a folded sheet of paper and informed him that there is a website specifically designed for him. Do not attempt to shut it down, as it is running from Syria with 3 backup servers in various locations, making it untraceable. Your situation is dire. Review it upon returning to your office. I removed Jessica's face because she should not bear the consequences of your wrongdoings. She has already endured plenty. Once you have examined the website, reflect on how your firm, wife, children, friends, and family will view your behavior after witnessing a 2-hour sex video. I intend to distribute this information on various well-known adult websites, along with your personal details such as your name, occupation, address, and phone number. His anger intensified. "Listen,
You have already destroyed my life, and I will never be able to experience sexual satisfaction in the same way again. Cease this behavior immediately, or I assure you, you will face severe consequences. This is precisely why we are here today, Mr. Diamond. I am determined to bring an end to this. You have taken away the most valuable thing in my life, my wife. You have shattered our 20-year-long marriage, and I cannot let you escape without consequences. I am risking my life, as you have mentioned. However, I am determined to seek retribution for the assault inflicted upon me by your associates. All right, please calm down. What is it that you want? There are two non-negotiable demands I have. Firstly, you must cease any form of retaliation against me or anyone I'm acquainted with, including Jessica. You are required to transfer $1 million into this account before the end of the day on Friday. Failure to do so by 9 p.m. on Friday will result in me taking necessary actions. I am aware of your financial worth and the potential outcomes of a lawsuit. Therefore, the amount I am requesting should be viewed as a generous offer, if I accept. How can I be certain that you won't cause harm to me in the future? I am a person who always keeps their promises, and you must have faith in me. Let me assure you of one thing. If you fail to comply with this request, there is an absolute guarantee that this website will gain immense popularity by Saturday morning. I sincerely hope that you experience lasting anguish for the detrimental impact you have had on my once blissful marriage. The funds have been transferred. We have successfully sold the house and distributed the assets. Jessica had enough financial resources to lead a comfortable life by either continuing to work or finding a new spouse. Mark ensured she remained employed as part of their agreement. However, their relationship never fully recovered. Jessica chose not to remarry, seldom went on dates, and carried the burden of hurting both men. Losing her marriage and the love of the man she envisioned spending her life with left her feeling isolated and despondent. Before reaching her 50th birthday, Jessica passed away. She was a shattered, sorrowful individual, with only her daughter Sarah attending the ceremony to scatter her ashes. Joni persisted in working for a few more years and relocated to a quaint seaside town. He married a kind woman who connected with him intellectually and physically, yet he could never replace the unique love that only Jessica could offer. He never communicated with her again, learning about her solely through Sarah, whom he cherished. They conversed daily and maintained a close bond, although Sarah rarely brought up her mother out of consideration for her father's enduring affection. Jessica's passing brought him grief, but it also provided a sense of closure to the profound sorrow he had concealed within himself. Thanks for listening to One Infidelity Hit. If you liked what you heard, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and drop us a like.